bless. Last live, I don't know, maybe God was saying, shut up. It got cut off at like 40 minutes. It's probably the shortest live I had in a long time. But hopefully this one's going to be short. I am in the middle of cooking dinner and I do have a horrible headache. But it seems that I want to be more safe than sorry. Y'all know we still going to have our live on Thursday with my husband, but I also wanted to make my business to kind of have like us women outside of the Bible study where we're supposed to be learning, right? And here we can just have general chit chat, the talks that men aren't interested in, and talk about life, vent, all of that, get to know each other more. I don't have a script because I'm random like that. But tomorrow, I'm sorry, what's your question, Angela? I don't think I even remember your notification popping up. But also, as I said before, for some reason, the YouTube Studio app shows way more comments than if I'm logging into YouTube from my phone. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I see a lot of stuff that I missed over that way. But I do have a lot of life updates to update y'all as of right now. And normally I shoot to do my live on Wednesdays, but Wednesday may be completely out of the question because there's a lot going on. So many of you seen the post where I posted about my sister, and that is still fresh. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, as much as within reason, because I don't know, I'm uncomfortable kind of talking about it, but I also want y'all to know where I'm coming from because I feel some type of way. Not in like towards her or something, but you know, my perspective on things are kind of like, huh. Um, so, in all transparency, it's probably one of the most questionable moments in life that has happened to me, besides the whole molestation thing. Like one of those things that you talk to God, like, God, why in the world did you let that happen to me? And it's one of those things that you struggle with, even after the fact. Even hey Eleanor, God bless you. um I'm some type of way. I don't even know what to describe my feelings today. And it's raining over here, so y'all know that don't make it no better because we're inside the house and there's a lot of time to think. Something positive, I finally finished Deuteronomy. um so yay, it took me like 3 months to finish Deuteronomy. In all honesty, it got really boring towards the end and I was just like, oh. But so long story short, last week my sister, I don't know the details leading up to, but I just know that she went from being fine the night before to the next day them giving her an emergency C-section. She was on the 23 weeks. So I myself, knowing what I know about pregnancy and the weeks and the development of the baby, I was already on edge when I first heard that, because I'm just like, no, like we want the baby to stay inside. Inside is where the baby will be most healthy. But obviously, you put your care and trust into the Lord first, and then underlyingly, you trust that God will move the doctors to do what's in the best interest of both. Good morning, evening, Sister Charlene. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, Gwendolyn. God bless you. So emergency C-section at 23 weeks, boy, which I think I've already told y'all that she did her gender reveal and it was a boy. And he was a decent side boy, because if you were familiar with the mapping of like the week per weight, he was already 1 pound and 9 ounces. And that's kind of, I mean, it's not huge, but based on the week, that's pretty good. Like, he's probably going to be a nice, good, thick baby if he were to last the term. He did even last 24 hours before he passed. Some issues were minor and known in the beginning. Others were towards them, making the conclusion that he's not going to make it. And, because one, he was already, his oxygen was already not his own. Like, he couldn't breathe on his own. So, I love you. That's why that was his job. That's why I pray under the feet. Amen. Amen. We like, man, when I say I've been praying. I think I've been praying so much that I'm like delirious. Like, I go to sleep praying, and I wake up like, oh, I was praying, and then next thing I'm awoke, and it's the next day. That's how crazy things have been. Like I said, there's been a lot going on with our children, which I will wait for. Thank you, Angela. I will wait for if he's comfortable talking about it, because just the thought of it making me tight, y'all. It's that serious. Like, it's real. Boy, I ain't think I could even get mad like that in the midst of this situation and whatever's going on. Even though that happened, matter of fact, like I told y'all, it's before and after our lives, pick and choose. The devil be busy, like right before, right after. And last live with us, not this past one, because this past one, you'll notice that I had to step off, and that's because I got the news that my nephew, my sister's son, passed away right while we was trying to do the live. And at first I was gonna hold off by getting on all together, but I actually walked outside and got myself together. I prayed, and I talked to her, and I just, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and move on, because for me, speaking for myself now, I can't drown in sorrow. Like, you don't leave me in the corner to just be by myself and think about this. Let me be productive, all in good health, because obviously I'm pregnant. And that was, like I said, that was hard. That was really hard to come back on camera, but let God will be done. And I know I got to be an example for everybody watching that, you keep moving forward, not to forget things like it was nothing, but let your faith speak for itself. And but the live before the last live, the devil was busy as I don't know what, dealing with our kids. And it was so crazy, because I'm like, wow, like, just like that, you could be doing God's work and Satan could be just like right there. And that just goes to show, because you hear people preach, if you do what you're supposed to do, you ain't got to worry about Satan. That's not true. And I even hate seeing posts like that. Like, just because you have made up in your mind to be obedient doesn't mean that Satan will not mess with the people around you, your loved ones, your children, people on your job. Like, you can't be excluded from Satan just because you're a child of God. That doesn't work that way. And like I said, I absolutely hate when people preach that. It's because that's not the case. I feel that way also. And my daughter asked me when our prayers going to answer, and I told them, I gotta go back and read that. But yeah, I had one of my stepsons, the youngest one, he asked me that about his mother, because he's been praying about his mother. And it's crazy, because I know that these things take time. Well, based on what he was praying for. And it's hard, because children, they know that if mom and daddy say we want to McDonald's, we're going to go to McDonald's, right? So if God is over mommy and daddy, like, make it make sense to them. Like, how come you guys can pretty much answer our requests immediately most of the time, but then when it comes to God, sometimes we have to wait? They don't understand that. And that's the hardest thing to teach younger people, is because we live in a culture where if I want something, it should be just a matter of $1. I should be able to go buy it. But you can't buy happiness. You can't buy joy. You can't buy peace. These things come from the Lord. And until you fully understand that in all aspects of your life, you're going to add more on your plate than necessarily has to be there. And that's something we all have to learn in our own time. But yes, he passed away. She got to hold him whatever before he passed. I wasn't there because y'all know the hospital situation is 2 people, your visitors, no more, no less. And the whole duration of you being in the hospital, those same 2 people have to be your visitors. You can't switch them out. Now, what I found very odd and interesting is the night of that they expected him not to live, they're giving her the okay to invite more people. I did not understand that because I'm like, if I could have had COVID the day before, I could have COVID now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand that. And the time and stuff was just so bad. And I don't know if I told y'all, but I also lost my card. Not the same card, but I lost like one of my main cards. And I was pretty much stuck in a position where even if I wanted to, I couldn't even go. The hospital is an hour away, which made it, like I said, it's just so nerve-wracking because when something happens to someone, you just want to reach out and hold them and hug them. And I didn't have that opportunity. I have yet to see my sister in person since this incident happened. We were thinking today, but schedule conflict with everyone. So hopefully tomorrow, which is why I couldn't wait to do this live tomorrow. Trying to keep y'all updated with everything else. Also, the day after, I think, or the day after that, I myself fell off my steps at home. And if you don't know, what you shouldn't know, because I don't talk about my steps, they are completely cement and they have a cement base. So, and I think it has about 6 or 8 steps. For whatever reason, I got like on the 3rd and fell completely down face forward. And even when people, like, I'm telling my husband and other people, they's like, how? Like, what happened? And I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know what to say at all. All I know is, I know earlier, my ankle felt like it was giving out. And if y'all don't know, I've had plenty of issues with my ankle. My ankle has been sprained probably 3 times, maybe even 4. That last time I didn't even bother to go to the doctor because it's just like, why? But I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to seek some type of correction in the future because it keeps getting sprained. But yes, thank you. It was so nerve-wracking because my face literally missed the cement by like inches. I was carrying food out for the dog, and that fell like flat down. I'm thinking, okay, dog, you're gonna help me. I did scream. My daughter didn't hear me because this house is so, to be a trailer, it is so solid when it comes to noise anyway. Like, she said she didn't hear nothing. And I scraped my knee really bad, and I scraped my left knee, my left ankle was scraped pretty bad. And they both are still painful. But even in that, I'm like, oh, and like, out of all the things that had happened up to this point, y'all, like, I literally was talking to God, like, could you lighten up? Like, I was just so upset. Like, can anything else go wrong? Was kind of like my mood that day. And I was over it. Like, Jacob said, go sit down. And I said, that's all I feel like doing right now is going to sit down. But again, I'm in a situation where it will make me feel better to be doing something than not to do something. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I don't want to put myself in a jeopardizing situation where I hurt my baby, because that's what everybody kept asking me, like, are you cramping? Are you hurting? And it's like, I don't mean no harm, but I'm always cramping. But I didn't feel any immediate danger in that area per se. But I did feel concerned in the aspect of, okay, my sister just had, premature labor. And obviously I'm thinking about that for myself. Because in her situation, obviously they were saying there was nothing evident to have her to, like, literally at 23 weeks, my sister dilated 3 centimeters. Like, who does that? And it came out of nowhere. Now, the only thing that I told her that I really was uneasy about is the fact that her doctor knew she was a bleeder and didn't really take any precautions about that. Because I have a cousin who pretty much experienced the same thing, but my cousin has real insurance, right? And they actually went in and saw that her wound wasn't stable, so they made sure that it was, so that it can carry her to 9 months. Now, y'all can talk all y'all want to, but, and there's just something else can go wrong, but not. Yes, that's true. That's why I shut my mouth. I know better. But y'all talking to someone who's been on Medicaid her entire life, and someone who actually took a break from Medicaid. I can assure you they can talk all they want to, but they treat you different based on you having Medicaid and based on you having real insurance. I know from experience. And I remember even watching Tyler Perry, one of his shows or something, where he demonstrated that, right? And you know, people say, you know what, TV do one thing, real life is something else. No, I'm telling you, as someone who was on Medicaid my whole life, and then when I got a good job and I got my own insurance, I'm telling you, like, I remember when I was pregnant with Jace, I had a job and I had Blue Cross. God bless you, Sterling. It's a lot. You probably had to rewind back, but you're gonna hear me talk about it. But let me I'm gonna get back to that. But anyway, I was pregnant with Jace, right? I was about 6 months. 6, 7 months, and I was in and out of the hospital. And I remember going to the hospital, and this is how, you know, in the system, they messy. But when it comes to us, right, we gotta have our paperwork. But that's a whole nother story. So in the system, when I come up, I'm gonna have my pregnancy Medicaid and my Blue Cross Blue Shield, which was full blown. I had the works. And I paid for that every about a week because we got paid by the week. And I remember going to the hospital, and they really were talking to me sideways and really acting like they wasn't trying to help me. Because Medicaid popped up first, Medicaid pregnancy. Then the lady called me back and said, I tell you right now, get some insurance, please. I don't care if it's the bare minimum. Something is better than nothing. I'm telling you. I know from experience. And I know from other people's experience who had nothing. But anyway, they ended up calling me and said, hey, I just want to check. Is your Blue Cross Blue Shield still active? Do you know that made a difference for them keeping me in the hospital than sending me home? And guess what? When they kept me in the hospital, they realized that I wasn't cuckoo. I wasn't just having pregnancy pains, but actually my body was trying to have contractions. So they kept me to try to stop my contractions because obviously, I wasn't 9 months yet and it wasn't time for me to have my baby. That's the difference between Medicaid and real insurance. Like, they were willing to send me home with me telling them, like, look, my back and my pelvic is on fire. Oh, there's nothing we can do because you're pregnant and this is not your hospital. You're out of your county. Yada, 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 yada. Then Blue Cross comes up. Oh, we got a room for you. Da, 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 da. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, from experience. And that was like my whole pregnancy. Like, every time I had to go to the hospital, it was like, you got 2 insurances. What's going on? They both are active. You pick. But you need to figure out what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the world we live in. Like, you really do get treated differently. Like, I don't know if y'all old enough to remember, like, the food stamps. Like, the actual stamp. You got treated differently based on if you were paying with that, if you were paying with real money. And it's crazy because people act like it's personal with them. Like, what does the stamp have to do with you? Like, you're a cashier. You're a person in the grocery store. I don't understand. Like, it has nothing personally to do with you. And in the same token, in the medical field, like, and I got friends who in the medical field, and I already feel like they done sold us soul. And I'm just being honest with you. Like, if 2 or 10 people over here, or somebody else I know, an in-law can tell me and be honest with me and tell me, look, the COVID data ain't what it is. And you can sit there and tell me with a bold-faced lie that you got the right. No, you can't. Because you done sold your soul. I'm sorry. Like, there's no other way for me to say that. Like, if you got to the point where you can't be genuine and transparent people and actually admit that there was false information with that, you done sold yourself. Like, because at the end of the day, you Christian first. You Christian first, then you're a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever else. And if you feel like you got to compromise any of that, you should not be in that field at all. And that's just my personal feeling. Like, if I can't get it straight from you, I'm not gonna talk to you about it. Like, you know, you do your career, but understand when it's all said and done, your career don't go with you. None of that goes with you. But I'm like I said, I don't know, maybe I'm just built different. Like I would literally sit here and tell you the truth. Like I don't care. And I don't mean I don't care as in I want harm to come against me and my family. That's not my attitude. I'm just saying that I know there is someone who's watching me harder than anybody on YouTube or anybody else can talk to me or listen to me about. And that's more important to me. But anyway, I think the only good news, well, it's not the only good news, but then I had to be the one, because I told y'all my sister still isn't talking to my mother. So I had to tell my mother that not only was her first grandchild from my sister premature, but it didn't make it. That was pretty painful. And of course she cried. And of course I was just like, I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, this is so weird to me. Like, why am I the one doing this? But that's a whole nother story. But I did felt like she should be the one. You are so right. I just had issues that bill. Can't remember my husband Blue Cross Blue Shield shit. Medical always pop up. Yep. And guess what though? Cause my doctor and people, you know, they talk a little smack about him. I'm just like, look, he keep it 100. When I go see him, he said, you know what? If they'll let you keep Medicaid, use Medicaid. Because he know he not gonna mistreat me because of Medicaid. Because obviously Medicaid don't come out my pocket. And then that's not to say to abuse the American dollar and all that stuff. Please don't get that deep because I worked and I pay taxes. But his whole point was, hey, if we get to that stumbling block where Medicaid don't cover it, then you come back and you let Blue Cross, you know, run it. Because whatever you do with Blue Cross, it's going to come back to you. You got to pay for it. That's what insurance is. Like, please don't be fooled about like life insurance, health insurance, house insurance. Yeah, when something happens in a moment, it's taken care of. That's the insurance. That's ensuring you that things will be okay, even if you ain't got the money right now yourself. But you're gonna come back and pay for it. That's what all insurance is. And I'm so hot. Lord have mercy, I'm so hot. I ain't even got the light on, I'm hot. But I should try to put the fan on, but I don't want to make noise. Yes, duh, Angela, duh. And we ain't even gonna get into all that, but I've seen that too. And now one thing I would say that there's a two-way street to that too. I've also been in a Social Security office where they almost didn't believe that, and it was a Caucasian family, that they were in need of the assistance. And I ain't gonna lie, my Social Security office, my Social Service office, is probably 80% black right now. So it's a two-way street. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna say racism ain't on both sides, because it is. But we definitely, and I told y'all, I don't know if I told y'all this, I went out of town 4th of July, I think. And I went in the gas station to get some drinks. And he just, it was an Arab man. He automatically said EBT. And I was like, did I say EBT? I mean, I didn't say that. But I'm thinking in my mind, like, bro, I didn't even, and mind you, y'all seen my pictures. I wasn't looking like, I didn't go in there looking like this. I was, you know, pretty decent 4th of July. And he was like, EBT? And I was like, well, since you said it, yeah, let me run that then. Like, you know, like, it's funny, but it's really not. That people really, based on what you look like, you know, how you talk and all this stuff, like, you definitely get mistreated, like, for real. Like, we're not gonna act like that don't exist. I even went to, we were out of town, right? We went to a and this is not, y'all, my husband was, before I can go any further, because I don't want nobody to get sensitive. Before I go even further, my husband was ordained by a dominantly white church. We do not hate white people. We do not dislike them at all. My very first real friend in school was a white boy named Eric. And I still remember him. He had blue eyes and long hair. He had like that mushroom cut. And he was cute. But I won't look at him like that. But he was just like a really cool, genuine person. I think my next coolest friend was a little Hispanic boy. His name was Albert, and I actually did like him. I had a crush on him. We would call ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend. That was about like second, third grade. But anyway, so I do not hate anyone based on their skin color. But I am old enough, and my mom's old enough, and my grandmother was old enough to definitely tell you that things have changed, but not a lot. Some of this stuff is deeply rooted. But anyway, we want to get to a point where we can go out in the world and nobody is judging you based on your status, like even how you look, your career profession. Like, for me, what kind of imprint can you leave as a human being? Y'all remember in elementary school, we have some custodians, and they were so sweet and so cool, and their job was to clean up our poop and our throw up. And they were genuinely good people. They smile, good morning, how you doing, how's your family, and you don't forget stuff like that. And for that very reason, nobody should treat them like, oh, you just a person to clean up the bathroom. No, you're more than that. Everybody's a human being. And obviously, if you are a believer, you are God's children. You don't get any higher than that. But anyway, long story short, my advice to anybody would be, man, get some insurance. Even right now, I only got Medicaid. And that's because I ain't really put too much thought and effort into it because Blue Cross, when I had Blue Cross Blue Shield and another insurance, which was very good, they actually paid me a little bit when I was out of work. You don't get no better than that. I ain't even see that coming. I just started getting checks in the mail like, hey, you're out on leave. Here's your cut or your, money from you being out. I'm like, Lord, I thank you. I thank you. But anyway, so I'm here. I've been praying. My husband successfully finished his fast last week. I did not. I ain't gonna lie. I got in my feelings. Really? I wish. Listen, if you want to see, well, I don't get nasty, but I feel so indifferent when it comes to hospital bills and stuff. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all. I had to get a procedure outside of Medicaid, and I knew it was outside of Medicaid. And the lady knew. Because you know what she told me? I don't think this is covered. Are you going to do the procedure or not? Well, we're going to go ahead and do it, and we're just going to hope that things are all right. Matter of fact, that happened on me. 2 incidents. One, I was at the dentist, and the other one, I told y'all I had a cyst or something that grew outside of my finger. I think it's called Hormona Gibanobla, something with a blood infused skin thingy. Looks like a giant tick. I had it on my hand, and I had to get it surgically removed. And obviously, Medicaid doesn't cover that because that's cosmetic. And what was I saying? But anyway, my doctor, like I said, my doctor who keeps it 100, he was my OBGYN. He said, I tell you what, you have came to me with the problem. This is not my field. So I'm going to refer you to this doctor, which means if this doctor that's on my Medicaid, I don't know if y'all do that in the other states, but North Carolina, I can only go to the doctor that's on my Medicaid anyway. Imagine that. I can be anywhere in this world, and if something happens to me, they can't even touch me legally unless he gives permission. Isn't that crazy? And I've been in that situation too, but that's another story. But anyway, so he said, you came to me. I've seen it. I think I know what it is. I'm going to send you to this doctor, and I know he's going to take care of it. And he did. But long story short, Medicaid was like, that ain't got nothing to do with us. And they sent me that little bill just to burn off the skin on my hand. And I'm just like, I'm not paying that. And I'm not doing it in an ignorant way. I'm just saying, like, for me, you told me you didn't know this was going to be covered. I kind of already knew, but you choose to do my procedure. Yeah, that part. But anyway, but like I said, even with the dentist, and this was a paid for insurance with the dentist. Y'all, please check behind y'all insurance. When y'all get new jobs and stuff, and they give y'all the special package, like, oh, for $25, you get the eyeglass, the dental, the health, and all that. Please check, because usually one of those are lacking. If not one, all of them. And in most cases, usually fall on the dental and the eye care. But anyway, I got a Slim Jim. And I know I'm not supposed to eat this, but I don't know. I need something. But oh yeah, Cigna. That's what it was. Cigna paid me after I couldn't work. Oh, they did you dirty. And you know what? I'm gonna speak for myself. I hate because my husband was talking about something and he kind of generalized it, but it still seemed disrespectful. And I was like, we gotta be careful. But speaking for myself, when stuff go wrong and doesn't go in our favor, I think we should go a step further and actually make a complaint. And you may say, man, people don't listen to them, they don't read them. I'm telling you, as someone who's been in customer service, just when you think somebody ain't paying attention to something gets pulled. Now, this is a system that normally happens. I don't agree with it, but when it does happen, it kind of is effective. One, when corporate decides to go into data and just pull a random complaint, it gets serious. Or it gets bad. And it could be something small or something big. Now, the problem is, you want the honesty part, corporate doesn't entertain every complaint. They're never going to entertain every complaint because what do they care, right? Like, it ain't really got, the business, normally, depending on what the business is, it's still going to go on. And insurance is one of them. But I've been in jobs where a complaint was pulled and investigated. And baby, it got ugly. My doctor actually had to do peer-to-peer with the insurance I had canceled 9 years ago. You think they would approve? And that's, you know what? When they wrote my mother a letter about her finding cancer in her body, they literally had the audacity to say that your insurance does not cover for another CAT scan, but you need another CAT scan. So the same way you're telling her what she needs, why aren't you talking to, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that just makes you, and maybe because it's my mom, I'm just like, bruh, no, y'all figure that out. Because how you gonna tell me that this is life-threatening, that y'all need to act sooner than later, but then tell me that I don't have to, what? What? Who does that? And I just truly feel like when it comes to cancer, I think the business push behind what medicine I need to take versus what's going to actually fix me is not balanced. Y'all know this. I ain't even going to get into that whole medical business, medicine. Because also, my sister was telling me that she was giving headache medicine. Y'all, let me try to turn this fan on. She was giving headache medicine when technically it wasn't pregnancy approved. And then they had a nerve to tell her, take only if you absolutely need it. This is me now. If I don't need it, don't give it to me. And I'm not, because I know some people can say, yeah, I was really sweating. I know some people will sit there and say, well, it's a matter of choice. Let me tell y'all another testimony. After I left that same emergency room where they act like I was trash until they found out that I had Blue Cross Blue Shield, the emergency doctor prescribed me medicine. Mind you, we already knew what the problem was, right? I was having contractions. But he said he figured something was going on with my muscles. Could be. I don't know. A lot was going on. So he gave me muscle spasms. Now, I didn't know what it was because y'all know they read the regular name. I'm not going to say I know everything because I don't. Now, if you give me a criminal justice term, I should know what that is. But medical, no. So I went to go get my medicine. Now, this is why you pray for everybody because you never know who can help you. The pharmacist pulled me to the side when I was picking up my medicine. And she said, normally I don't do this, but this, for one, this ER doctor isn't a certified approved doctor by Medicaid. One, red flag. Two, also the medicine that he prescribed is not CDC or FDA approved. Two, I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, I just wanted to tell you that because, yeah. Why do I want it? Now, I'm not talking to her like this, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, what in the world? You mean to tell me that a doctor is good enough to work in an ER where emergencies come through, but insurance doesn't even recognize that he's a doctor? Why is he giving me medicine? And then to come to find out that I did my own little research, like, you tested on animals. Now, before somebody who's real scientifically, that ain't even a word, say anything, I understand what it takes for medicine to get to us. Sometimes they're tested through animals, then humans. I understand that. But through the entire history of this medicine, it has not have a real testing on human. Did you know that? So if anybody taking any muscle spasms, please understand that. Now, it could be this particular brand, I say that, but y'all know. Y'all know. But and I said, God, and I looked to Jacob. He said, nah. And we not throwing him away. I got him because I said, you know what? Let me do my research because we stand there in Walmart. So I paid a little $3 for it, and I got home. I did my little research, and I was like, Jacob, did you see this? He said, nah. Even if you get that bad and you gotta go right back to another ER, then so be it. But some things you just don't take risk on, even in your ignorance. Like for me, if I don't know, that's just as good as me not actually putting myself in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? And everybody doesn't think that way, but it's a good practice. And that's what I say, because I had a friend who was talking to me about getting the shot, the vaccine. And she said, I've been feeling uneasy about it since the beginning, but I also feel some type of way because my husband goes around people every day, and I don't even want to have that situation. So I understand. One thing about me, I understand why some people take the vaccination. I just don't understand and comprehend, nor do I appreciate the medical push behind the vaccination. Because we as human beings, we only have a certain amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of us are taught that, excuse me, y'all, ranking matters in the matter of decision making. A lot of us who are more on the religious side understand that God has the last say, one, and two, that a higher title doesn't mean higher integrity. And that's not to say this one is ignorant over the other. This is a condition of institution. So, you have your, how many institutions? You got school, home. It's a lot of them. I can't remember. But I tell anybody, whether you choose to or not, if you exclude or exempt yourself from the idea that God is in control, then that's your mistake. Not the fact that you took the vaccination or didn't take the vaccination, but the fact that you can sit there with a bold face and a bold mouth and not acknowledge the fact that no matter what kind of knowledge and understanding anyone has over anything, that God is in control. Period. And like I said, you will see that it seems like the more higher some people get, God is here and science is here. And that's so scary because you just gonna diss God like that for a paycheck? Nah, not I. But I say we need to pray for the medical field. We need to pray for our government, local and federal, because we know president, but our governor, makes the decision individually whether a certain county or the state goes into lockdown or not or whatever. But it is a trying time. Outside of all that nonsense, I still give God glory. I still give him praise. I still say, yes, Lord. Honestly, I did have moments, especially with my sister's situation, to question God, which I tell y'all, I never throw the book at you for questioning God. Oh, yes, the Commonwealth state. where a dollar matters a whole lot more than a human being. And y'all, when I was doing, like I said, I studied criminal justice, and a lot of our mock cases and a lot of our real, that actual happened cases came from Virginia. Boy, they got some history with them. Just about all the mess they have inside. Yes. 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 Which is why, y'all, I hate taking pills. Like, and this is why I tell y'all, and you hear us talk, and even when he talks about his diabetes and stuff, and we got many arguments over that, because he's more like 75-25. Like, his 25 is faith, God can do anything, but it's almost like his God can do anything is more in favor that God can choose not to, if that makes sense. And then over here, he has the idea that God made medicine, God made man, God made science, he made, the medical field and all this stuff. So he's generally in control of all. So he made the medicine that's keeping me sustained. And, I hate to be a jerk, but I'm like, look what that has gotten you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying God just literally said, you know what, I'm not going to heal Jacob's kidneys. I'm just saying that what the underlying issue is understood. Again, God is in control of everything. But he didn't create, or we can't blame him for the mishaps in between medicine and our bodies and all that stuff. Some of that is our free will, right? Like, you have the will to eat right, to be healthy, and do this stuff. And a lot of people, especially with high blood pressure, as soon as the doctor tell you that, well, I just got high blood pressure. So I know, like, even with my mama and my aunts, I watch them say, oh, I got to take my pill before I eat so that my blood pressure stay regular. Or you can watch what you eat and wean yourself off of the medicine. But that's not the mentality in the African American community at all. Like, you hardly ever hear that. Matter of fact, it's so rare that when you hear those testimonies, it's like, wow, OMG. And the reality of it is, there's a 50% chance of that being you or somebody else. And I'm talking about, no, because you will hear people say, well, diabetes 1, diabetes 2 make a difference. Man, I know somebody right now that has lost almost 200 pounds and completely changed their lifestyle. Just tune in, native testing research and man living to get natural news. I can't read that fast enough. Which I have my other phone. But I'm gonna get back. I always try to come back and say something to those. But I would say that any of the live comments, I'm not ignoring them. Once the live ends, I can't comment directly to that, but I do read them. But anyway, you have to pray, right? And ask God, is there anything I can do? Because a lot of times when we go through situations, circumstances, fix it, Lord. God can actually use you to fix the situation. Like, there's a lot of people kind of address situation like there's a gap or something in between. Like, I don't know. Like, there's me, there's divine power and authority, and somehow or another, there's this magical bridge that's invisible to me, or I have nothing to do with it, in between where healing and deliverance takes place. And that's not the case. Like, God is real. His authority is real. What he can do for you is real. And like I said, it could just be like, it's not, I don't think it's a heaven or hell issue, but I do think it's a faith issue where I can say, you know what? I can choose to take a high blood pressure pill every day of my life, or I can actually seek out to make a change with God helping and guiding me, right? Because even the idea to do better comes from God. You don't think of that yourself, because this flesh seeks to kill you, remember? Kill, steal, and destroy. And that's spiritual and natural. And like I said, this is where me and my sister are like this, like we on this, like on that idea, because her faith is like pew, like fireworks. I ain't got there yet, but I definitely do admire her. She was like, you know what? Why do we let our minds box us? We don't have to. That is a hindrance. And it's also a hindrance not to be accepting of God's will too. So I'm you know, that's true too. Like I said, I appreciate him for saying, you know what? If God takes me from this earth and this is my fate, then God is still God. I don't have any arguments with that. But if you let that concept drown you to the point where you're kind of like in the well and somebody kind of threw you like a rope, but you're expecting to actually see God's hand dangle the rope kind of thing, you're a lost cause. And like I said, that's one of, because I was trying to think of something that we disagree with on the live. I can't think of nothing. But that's one of the things we kind of disagree with, like whether to condition our lives to medicine or to ask God for an alternative. And I always say, God, I don't want to take this. And I don't, God sounds a lie. They don't want argument people on the planet. They want zero humans, animals. I heard some stuff about that too. Matter of fact, I just watched a video on that stuff. Matter of fact, y'all, there's a lot of conspiracy stuff going on, right? So one of the ones that came up, I'm gonna try to get back on topic, but one of the ones that came up that kind of disturbed me was that population has exceeded the health guideline of, you know, how many humans on Earth. So COVID was planned, and I'm just like, now, like I said, I don't sit around and just like, let me do research in this. I kind of stumbled across this by accident. But do y'all know how sick that would be if that is what we're against? Like, well, obviously God still allowed it, right? But do you know how sick that would be that someone above us, government authority, whoever, will literally just say, you know what, it's too many of y'all. Let me get rid of y'all. That is some sick stuff. But now, like I said, I'm not a conspiracist, so please don't think that. But it did make me think about what actually took place. There was, quote unquote, too many Jews. We want to get rid of them. What happened? Holocaust. There's too many people, too many Chinese having babies. What happens? There's laws forbidding a certain amount of children being born. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not too far-fetched. But it's just kind of sad and disturbing that these things are going on, right? Right? That we over here kind of chilling like, yeah, that's in our backyard. They ain't really got nothing to do with us. But then it's kind of scary to even think about those concepts. Wow. I thought about it too with I was watching something. But anyway, I'm trying to stay on track. But that's so, do y'all not understand how scary that is to, and this is me just venting, like it's not written in the textbook. It's just my opinions. How scary it is that people actually could be planning what's enough and what's not. And that just proves how far away we are from God, like trusting that he will supply every need. Because think about it, the idea of populating an increase came from God. What did he tell Abraham? Like, I'm going to fill this entire place. Like, I want all of you. I'm allowing all of this. Hello? Like, he's in control, but what's happening slowly and surely, we are putting all our faith and trust in man and taking it out of God's hand, which we can't do, but we're so fighting and we're so pulling at it, and that's not okay. And a lot of people, matter of fact, I seen this quote that said, don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? How in the world can me thinking about heaven at all prevent me from being no earthly good if all things work out for the greater good of those who love him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be careful about, and a lot of Christians share that post, and it's like, you got to be careful about what sounds good, right? What scripture is equivalent to that statement? There is none. There is no scripture to tell you that if you don't keep your mind on heaven or God, that you're somehow going to ruin your earthly life. Exactly. And that's the whole girl. I hope you're a girl. But I mean, I don't hope you, I'm hoping my pronoun is correct. That this is something I was like, listen, y'all, I'm talking about be honest. Like I said, y'all want to know some things that we argue about. That's one of them. Like, I'm really huge on if there's a sickness, if there's a disease, if that is God's will, if there's some like health issues, just like a deficiency, notice you don't get told by the doctor, try this natural remedy, right? Or food. You get told there's a medicine for that. Then you got to do your own research and you find out that, I don't know, something like carrots can actually help your eyesight. Oh, I never remember reading that in textbooks growing up. You just get told about a pyramid and that you should, have a balanced meal. But I think it would help me just a little bit more if you would have told me that carrots help the eyes. Because then when it started being an issue, I could actually try to eat the carrots. Now, that doesn't override the fact that God is in control once again. If it's meant for me to lose my eyesight, then so be it. But it's not going to kill me. It doesn't have a side, like, this is my big thing with medicine. Like, carrots, bananas, oranges, grapes, none of those foods have a life-threatening side effect. None. Now, you can go technical and say, there's people that are allergic. Yes, I get that. I'm allergic to a lot of foods myself. There's a lot of people, like my son, who citric acid irritates his skin. But again, he may be bumpy, but he's not dying. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was, oh, baby. The commercial about the medicine, I can't think of the name right now, for those, and quote, this is the commercial, I ain't making this up now, and y'all might even, my medical people might even know the medicine I'm talking about. It's advertised to individuals who may have a lifestyle that would give them a greater chance of being infected by HIV. Boom. That's the storyline. I kid you not. And for the life of me, I can't think of the medicine right now. But I remember when the commercial first ran, I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But you get to the side effects and you say, this medicine does not prevent that. Why in the world would you market it to me or even give me the idea? And this is the real kicker, y'all. In the commercial, they got two homosexual males dating. They got a man and a woman that seems to be flirting somewhere, like at a cookout or something. They got like another man that perceives or seems to be bi, so he's going from woman to man. What else? I don't know. Oh, then they got a transgender talking. So I'm like, what in the world is your purpose right now? Or what are you trying to say? Because, sorry, I don't want to chew on camera. But this is why I'm looking at it, and I could be wrong. I'm looking at it like this. What you're insinuating is that these lifestyles, you're admitting that living like this would make you more prone to being exposed to HIV, AIDS. That you, whoever's in the medical field, whoever's creating medicine, you're literally admitting that. You're literally shouting to the world, hello out there. If you're homosexual, transgender, trying to have sex with what's really the same sex, but you're acting like you're a different sex, if you're promiscuous or you're just out there sleeping with people, because that's what it looked like two people who just met at a cookout decided, hey, we're going to get it on. You're admitting that there's a certain lifestyle that will increase these chances. But when the Bible clearly says stay away from these lifestyles, we're hateful. We're judgment. Like, it just blew my mind. Like, I remember sitting there talking to Jacob, like, bro, this world is so sick and sad, and some things are so obvious. hello. Like, this Bible says man should not sleep with man. This Bible says God created woman to be with man. This Bible says no sex before marriage. This Bible says when you're married, don't cheat. But we can't say that, right? Because it's attached to a religion. Whereas this commercial plainly in plain sight said, if you do any of these things, you're more prone to get infected. But they're not interested in your soul. They're interested in the market behind the medicine. Because you got to think about what's happening right before our eyes, right? The LGBTQ community is growing. So obviously that means these activities are increasing. And that's so sad. Excuse me, I have to be ignorant right quick. Ariana! Ariana! Sorry. I gotta get her to check on my ham. And you're probably gonna see Jace. Ariana? Can you check on the ham? Make sure it's not too brown?
Yes.
And open up the cans of cabbages, please. And the string beans. But anyway, what was I saying? But that just, and you would come make noise, right? That's why he was locked up in that room. Thank you in Jesus' name. We definitely, you have to be quiet. I'm on live, okay?
Yeah.
Not gonna be quiet. But we have to be careful. We have to continuously pray. Because Jace, come here. Come here. See, you know what you be doing. Come here. We got a whole future of these youngins like this. In the world. Huh?
It's a good looking brand.
All right, cut it off. And open up the cans of cabbages. God bless you, restore the earth. God bless you. We got, like, this is one thing that I kind of wish that I had paid more attention to growing up, is that our elders, not our ancestors, because people are wearing that out right now, and it's like, bro, what do you think a dead person is doing for you? But anyway, our elders were only doing what we need to be trying to do for our children, which is ensure safety. Pay attention because it's part of it.
What that?
Right. And I still like, and you know what? I think God, they say, hey, Jace. Say, hey. I think, y'all, that's why sometimes it's, I don't know. I don't want to say a little ratchetness is okay. Sometimes a little organization, unorganization, it's a Slim Jim. One piece?
It's so messy.
You don't even know it's nasty. You haven't ate it. But anyway, we have teachers who have stepped out on faith and will come and say, hey, a matter of fact, I remember my daughter was on live with one of her teachers, and he literally said, we know he's a Christian because he's a friend of my husband's. He said, now, we know what the textbooks say about God and religion and stuff, but he said, let me tell you what I believe. And you may say he was completely out of place. I say he won't hurt nobody because he said the textbook got what it said. Now I'm going to tell you what I believe. And I ain't offended. I'm not offended at all. Now, somebody may be offended, but I'm like, hey, somebody, they need to know that, one, whoever's teaching them has not sold their soul to one. Two, they also need to understand that outside of what you're being taught from a book, you need to also have that relationship of your own. And that's what I've been talking to my kids all weekend about, is that we can talk to y'all about what's in the Bible all day long, but it ain't gonna be until you establish your own relationship with God that you understand as...
It's my pudding. It's not both.
Yeah, I don't need a light right now because I'm hot.
Look.
I know. It's off.
I need to be caught up, Mommy. But this is a hot book.
What?
It's a hot book. And the teacher.
Are you gonna preach or are you gonna let me talk?
Yes.
Anyway, what was I saying? You have to. Like I said, one thing that was so lacking in my church and other churches, we quit to say, let's have Sunday school. Let's have these stories. Let's hear about David and Goliath. Like, it was big on that stuff.
A church is home.
Yes, the church is home. Amen. Amen.
Look.
Don't you try to cut folks off. Listen.
Where there's roof hot asses.
Really, Jace? You ain't he his daddy for real though? Like, you your daddy, for real. But anyway, like I was saying, we can do the storytelling because the world does storytelling. They got folk tales, they got wives tales, like they got all these tales. But the foundation we need to be underlining our children is that you have to seek out God for yourself, have your own relationship. And ain't no Sunday school teacher ever told me that. Ain't no children's church teacher ever told me that. Like, even we was talking about like pornography, molestation, rape, having urges and desires, learning about your body and stuff. Nobody set the time and related that to the word of God. You just got told, if you even got that conversation, you just got told, don't do it, don't fall for it. Why? Why is it wrong? Why is it bad? Where did these feelings come from? Like, what happened? And even I was talking to my kids, I said, you know what? Well, I feel like, go get my other phone, please.
Okay.
We have to not take for granted that just because we know something, they should know something. Because I remember, a lot of y'all not. I think I was 12, 13, and my mom, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to eat in front of y'all, but it kind of helps me chew on something. But my mom found a used open condom by her mailbox, and we in the country, y'all. Imagine that. And she came in the house fussing. You all right?
Is he my phone?
You don't see it?
No.
Did you look in the bedroom?
No.
Okay. She found this used condom and she busted in the house and she was belligerent, like rah, 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 rah. She had a whole lot to say. And we looking at her like, what are you talking about? Because we had no idea. But she assumed, because she seen evidence of that, one, it had to belong somewhere nearby, and two, that if we were using it or if it did belong to us, that we always must know what was going on, but neither two were true. I remember I ain't never ever knew even what a condom was until she said something. And a whole lot of other stuff she said, and I was like, what are you talking about? Because she never had that conversation with us. She still to this day didn't have that conversation with us. And it's sad because this is something that's deep in the South about Christianity and faith, is we don't talk about it. And it's not just us African Americans, because I was watching teach the students about their body, how to be each other. Oh,
Here, Mommy.
I can't even imagine. Thank you. But
Go.
like I said, I do feel like definitely not elementary, but middle school is probably where most people say they either were curious, they act on their feelings, usually by that time. And I think, I heard growing up, we hear about, oh, when you get to high school or middle school, you're going to hear about sex, but we didn't. But I do feel like there should be some organized teaching, not give any teacher this guideline and say, hey, figure it out. I don't think that's okay, because I don't know. I'm more comfortable talking about than Jacob is to the kids. I don't know, maybe because I had an early start, which he did too, but I don't know. Men, I guess, is just different than women. I'm just like, look, I'd rather tell you before somebody else tell you. And I talk to them a lot about it. And I say, hey, don't sit here and think I don't know that you're starting to actually look at a woman and say, something about her I find attractive. What is it? Yeah, it's going to be innocent enough. But then you're going to start feeling some type of way. And then some other things going to start happening to your body. You need to know what that means. And instead of just automatically saying, well, that's Satan. Those feelings and urges belong to Satan and yada, 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 yada. We got to do better. Delivering somebody from feeling those urges. God gave us these urges. We just need to be taught why and when to act on them. That's the difference. Like telling somebody, oh, you never kiss anybody, never hug anybody, never have sex. No, God made sex for man and woman in a marriage. We need to teach that. We need to teach, because right now, like I even was telling someone, I said, you know what? The world, the single world, non-married world makes sex seem amazing and glorious and wow. But then when it comes to marriage and us, it's, well, you're married, you can have sex now. It is just as beautiful, just as amazing in a marriage. Wow. And, well, people kind of do that anyway, but wow. And I kind of almost, I don't know. I'm trying to think. You always gotta put yourself in that situation. Now, would I obviously be upset that that happened to my child? Yes. But I also know that I wanted to ask my mom about it, but she did not give room to do that. So if that was me in middle school, because that's where I started, it probably would have kept me from being a teen mother. Now, again, because you always got to, they say if you talk to men, you got to always put yourself in a situation and put the child in a situation and see how their answer change. And normally it changes. Now, obviously, if I found out my daughter was, because mind you, birth control comes with side effects. So I probably would absolutely be upset with it. But I don't know. This is kind of why I try my hardest. What are you putting the cabbage on? Don't turn it high. What you got it on?
How to use a can opener. I said it before.
Bring it here. Yeah, my 13-year-old, I'm trying to get her in the kitchen and she ain't trying to be in there. But anyway, now, like I said, for me, it's halfway open.
I know.
Wow. Okay, you on camera. Say hey.
Hey.
Would you get birth control behind my back?
No, not unless you told me to.
Then it wouldn't be behind my back.
No.
What that, Mommy?
We only can go by what they say, right?
Mommy? What
It's
that?
cabbage. Please be careful.
One more can.
All right, and bring me something to wipe this up. But we will hope to, I don't know how to, like I said, for me, I will be more upset on the lines of, because I know the side effects of birth control versus the preventative part of it. Because if my child, Jace, how about you take your drum and Ariana room, then you can beat. You want to watch drum video in the room? I'm sorry, y'all.
We're eating, Mommy.
A Slim Jim.
Jim, Jim.
Mm-hmm. I look so hot and sweaty. It's ridiculous. But and guess what? He asked me what I'm eating, and he has no interest
Okay.
whatsoever. Because y'all know he's a picky eater. None. Like everything we eat, matter of fact, he might eat a piece of ham. Who knows? But I know he's not eating no cabbage. And what I say, string beans?
You make it look so easy.
Because you just put it in and you move it. Which this one is about gone, I ain't gonna lie. We gotta get another one. Wow. Chicken nuggets, French fries, sometimes peas, sometimes corn, and sometimes
So
string
you
beans.
don't try to put that part on it?
No, it doesn't go on it.
You told me chicken nugget and
Why?
then
I knew that.
and then chicken nugget.
Nobody.
and fries.
I told them.
It's fries, dude.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, y'all.
Fries.
Stay at home mom here. Husband's at work. Dinner gotta be served. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
You hungry?
Yes.
Want some whales?
Um.
Want some of them chips? But anyway. And like I had to just talk with my husband too. We got to make sure that when it comes to sex and all that crazy mess, we're equal. Because by him growing up with dominantly men and me growing up dominantly women, there was a little bias. And I said, we can't do that. Like, cause you pretty much, I remember we had a conversation about when the boys start dating, they can bring a little girl over, but then when it came to her, nah, you ain't bringing no dude over here. I don't want anybody in my house, to be honest with you. That's just me. Like, I don't want, because I feel like what happens with that, and some people may say that's innocent, but I feel like it leads to courting or living together before marriage, me personally. I feel like you're kind of giving the okay that if I'm okay with a person, you can be around that person, but you got to understand when them kids get grown, they going to want to live with that person before marriage. And I don't think that's a good idea. I think in not letting them cope or date in your home kind of creates this atmosphere that you don't just attach yourself to people. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not perfect. But I think my mom didn't allow somebody to actually come over and sit on the inside until I was pregnant. And that's, in her mind, it was okay, I'm pregnant. But I'm pretty sure and positive that's not something she wanted to do. And even me being a mother right now, that's not something I would want to deal with either. And that's not to be mean or rude or to be too tight. I just feel like we set the standards on how far things go, and we don't even realize it. Like I said, he's Jace. Really? Get that out my printer.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
Before you break it. Usually what happens when you allow this dating and exploring your options and you talk to this one, you talk to that one, that's going to carry out into the world. And what happens is dating becomes what it is right now, which is I'm going to see and talk to whoever I want to until I'm tired of talking and seeing to whoever I want to. And sometimes they don't break that cycle. That cycle goes into marriage and it goes into the relationship. And then we get mad because the world's filled with people who are cheating and a bunch of deceived Jays, main people, side pieces, all of that. Jay, no, come on. I can hear you. Ariana, put that on 3. And bring me the string beans. Huh? Okay. Put that on 2. And then I got the rest. But that's just me. Now, am I gonna frown against anyone who allows dating? No, that's you and your house. But I know for me, I feel like it sends a message. And this is one thing about kids, because I'm pretty sure when kids do what they do, or maybe you did know, like most people say, well, I knew this one was gonna be pregnant first, or I knew this one's gonna be dating first. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't really know. But I don't want to assume anything, and I certainly don't want to mistreat one over the other or make it seem like, because what we got going on right now is we don't have someone that's significantly older. Like his 13-year-old is, well, sort of kind of. they're in the same. He has an late birthday, so it kind of seems like he's 13, like 6 months before, well, 5 months before she is. But they turned 13 in the same year, and they're in the same grade. So I think hopefully that will, when time go on, he'll realize that it don't matter what you do for a boy, do for a girl. Like, it should be equal, and teaching that will carry out in their lives, because what happens more time than another, the girl get to talk, she gets the restraint, she get the restrictions, and then she go out the house and go butt wild. Versus the dude, he has the freedom, and then the freedom carries out his life. In most cases. I ain't say that's for everybody, but I know for my brother, he had no restraints on him, but he also wasn't really interested in human beings either. He just liked video games. But you want to be safer than sorry. And for me, like I said, I can talk to them about all this stuff and what's going on in the world and everything. But they also know, don't come talk to me about some ridiculous stuff. And bye-bye. What you doing? Oh, yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Well, turn the TV on in my room and turn drum video on.
You sure that's not gonna make your thing?
It's fine. I'm to the end. And I think it starts over today. But that's just me.
Come on. You want a
I would definitely take it up with God and pray about it, because I know and seen in my own household growing up how it's okay, Jace, how not, or assuming and not dealing with what you think you should, and vice versa. That one child that probably needed your attention the most, you don't even realize it because you're so focused on one over the other. And like I was talking to him about last night and early today, children notice everything. Everything. Like, even I said, Kate, you can admit, right, that you felt like your father and your mother treated you different than they treated other ones. He said, yes. And just like you notice it now, you notice it then, and it probably affect how you thought. Now, somebody may say, well, once you get older, you can kind of understand and realize why things the way they were. But even with that, me personally, I don't agree. Even with me growing up and saying, you know what? Well, I kind of see why she wasn't so hard on her, but was so hard on me. Does that make me feel any better? No. And even now, we are treated differently. Like, grown-ups, we're treated differently by our mom. And it don't feel good, and it don't look good. And this is what I don't want to come across to my kids. I don't want them to ever grow up and say, man, you were the favorite. You were the picked loved one. You got more stuff. Because even innocent enough. And like I said, y'all, just to give y'all a picture of what goes on in our house, we have a lot of birthdays. We have a whole lot of birthdays. KJ birthday's January. And then who's in between? Nobody's in the middle. But maybe this child, like, depending on when they schedule my C-section, maybe a January baby, maybe a February baby. So there'll be somebody else in the midst. Mind you, in January, you done dealt with Christmas and Thanksgiving, exchanging gifts. You're probably broke, and you're probably so anticipating February, March. But anyway, so his birthday in January. So he pretty much get a real slack birthday. And I didn't really put too much thought into it until they started talking about what they want to do for their birthday. And naturally, Lingo, the middle son, is in May. So he gets the good weather, good time. We probably can do something outside, inside type vibe birthday. And then here comes Ariana's full-blown July. It's like, hey, we definitely can be outside. We definitely can do something. This is like June and July is like vacation central. So usually our family vacation falls somewhere between that. And they get it seems extra for them because they fall in the midst of that. And then here comes Jacob's birthday in October, where it's okay with his birthday. Like, it's right at the tip of where, like, all right, after this, we need to save our money and stuff. So then here comes Jake's birthday, November the 9th, and then mine's November 29th, and then here comes Christmas, and then there's Thanksgiving, and, you know, like, it gets really mushy. And oftentimes I always say, don't get me nothing, but he always managed to get me something. But I would completely understand if he said, hey, can you wait till Christmas? Because I definitely would. Or wait till tax time, which, who's arguing with that, right? You definitely get to get what you want then. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'm fine with that. And because we're adults. But in the eyes of children, they're not going to sit there and comprehend understanding that, well, we just had Christmas and I got what I wanted, so I can't really quite get what I want from my, you know, they don't understand that. And it definitely was a compromise. And I said, wow, he's right. Like, we should try, at least try to, because obviously it's not on purpose, but I do believe in investing and saving. And that's something that we just kind of eliminated because everything was kind of focused on Christmas. And that's even with my husband not going crazy, but just getting everybody the one gift they really want. And it still gets back. So what is that? Is it raining? Sounds like a storm. But yeah, but that's just what our household looks like. And like I said, we want to be very careful because it could be something as simple as a birthday celebration where somebody gets slapped because they're closer to Christmas or after Christmas or winter times. Because, you know, winter birthdays aren't really celebrated like summer birthdays. And he got a 2-for-1. He got a winter birthday and he got a birthday after Christmas. But anyway, I just encourage anybody that if you notice or if you don't notice that there's like a difference in the response you get from your kids, you want to make sure it's not because they're thinking that something was biased towards or against them. That's my thing. But I'm trying to think if there anything else I need to talk to y'all about. Like I said, we're still gonna have our live on Thursday. I did my live today instead of Wednesday because tomorrow might be busy. What else? I'm gonna cast a vote after this because I'm still feeling uneasy about the Bible giveaway. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to work on because I need to handle it. But what would you guys consider a fair solution to the time frame before and during and after the Bible giveaway? Because right now it takes like a week and a half before I can even get a response. And these are people who are willingly saying, hey, I want to participate in the Bible giveaway. And like I said, I don't want to get sour and not do them because I am feeling better. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm feeling a little bit better. I just, now it seems like I just got to make sure I eat something because I'm so used to not eating or getting sick. But now I have to make sure I keep snacking or I'm going to get a headache like I got one now. But, so I haven't threw up. Praise God. I've been eating breakfast. Praise God. And what else? I'm still cranky a little bit. Y'all pray for Jacob. Oh, I've been so cranky. And that, I know it's not just pregnancy. It's everything that's going on just so hard to deal with. But y'all please pray for him because I'm going to be all right. But what else? But yeah, I need a solution that is fair and honest. Like I said, the one thing that I've seen other people do, they do a 24-hour notice for the giveaway, and then they move on to the next person. Me personally, 24 hours seems, I don't know, because even I miss some emails and some inboxes in 24 hours. So I don't want to be that tight. But what would you think would be a set in stone, reasonable time frame for the giveaway? Like, how should it be set up? Do you see anything wrong with how I got it set up? Please let me know. Also, do you think it's fair? Thank you. Please pray for him. But do you think it's fair that the giveaway is limited to the US? I've been thinking about that. And I don't know, because then I'm like, well, if I got to be fair, then maybe I should wait till I can afford to mail outside of the US. But that's something that's been on my mind too, because there's a lot of people outside the US who can't even have access to Bibles, especially the ones that we have. So it's kind of like, wow, that would be a really cool blessing if we could make that happen. What else? I don't know. But like I said, the main point of this live was to kind of catch y'all up on what happened with my sister, let y'all know where I am. Like I said, it's still a fresh wound, so I'm just taking it one day at a time. Like I said, I'm feeling better physically, but mentally, I'm still wavering. And like I said, God is perfect even in the weakness and what we go through, because I just couldn't imagine if I couldn't do nothing and I was sick and I was grieving. But the fact that I actually can get up and clean a little bit and cook a little bit, it kind of occupies me. I can read my Bible now. Like I said, I just finished Deuteronomy. I don't know what to read next. Well, I'm going in order in that Bible. But I also like to read something else. If you have people outside of the U.S., it would be nice to include them if you can, because I know shipping would be more. Yes, that's what I've been I'm trying to remember where was it going. I think Canada. And it was $25. And it wasn't even a Bible. So maybe that would be cheaper. But they wanted one of my oils. And my oil is only 4 ounces. And it was $21 and change. That's a lot. Especially if I have a set in stone price on my products. Like my oil, I'm now able to sell it for $7 flat. But that $7 flat includes shipping. And it's like, okay, if I sell this to you for $7 and then shipping is $21,